Fellow Devil Fruit users, I welcome thee to my very first review of freezing in general, and I will be reviewing the Freezing Vibrations episode 3. This will be my first, of course. Now, let me go ahead and just, wrap your head around how I am about freezing. Now, I am exactly in the manga right where this episode is. As soon as I watched the first 2 episodes of Freezing Vibrations, I said, okay, I'm caught up, time to catch up with the manga. And as soon as I read the Mark IV chapter, guess what comes out the day later? Or, I'm sorry, the same day, actually, I read it, a couple hours. Mark IV episode of the 3rd episode of Freezing Vibrations. So I'm like, okay, this is unique. A few hours after I read the chapter, I watched the episode. So it gave me some really good insight, and I was able to make some very interesting comparisons that maybe a lot of people may not have been able to make, or may not have been able to notice as easily because it may have been a year or two, or etc., since they bothered to read the chapter. So let me go ahead and get into it. Now, freezing is awesome. It is. It really is awesome. And be wary. This is going to be the last time that I'm going to be having no knowledge of the manga ahead of where the episode is. So savor this moment. Now, this episode was pretty interesting, entitled, if I remember correctly, Mark IV. Now, I was pretty much aware that this whole Pandora arc thing, there's something fishy about it. I mean, from the gist of what we got throughout the episode, all we're really getting is that they're not trying to betray anybody. The issue is that they are willing to do whatever is necessary to stop the Nova, and they don't want the Pandora to find out about it. They simply want to use whatever experimentation they can, regardless of whatever it costs them. So I consider the idea that Scarlett O'Hara was some evil mastermind of some sort, but I really just think that she is just trying to do whatever is necessary, and it's just a little extreme. Now, in this episode, not a lot happens. I won't lie. The first 2 episodes were much better than this, but the way that the ending ended, we know that the next episode is just going to shit all over this one. This was mostly set up. Now, after the whole Amelia and Elizabeth Mabley fight, basically Amelia confronts Scarlett O'Hara about the Mark IV. Now, beforehand, Scarlett O'Hara had announced to the remaining Pandora and Pandora of the existence of Mark IV. Now, basically what the Mark IV is it is a drug that allows you to become stable. Now, the reason why they need stability is because they're attempting to basically ignite stigmata within the Pandora. Now, they couldn't do this before, so basically they're taking one hell of a risk, and that in order to negate this risk, to combat this risk, they're going to use the Mark IV. Now, the question I and a lot of the Pandora had was, if this is so convenient, why didn't it exist before? How was it so able to exist? And Amelia had the same questions when she confronted Scarlett. Basically, she said, you and I both know, straight up, we do not have the technology to do this. So what's going on? Because if this is just a remake of Mark III with a few additional little things, it's going to hell. It wasn't like Mark III was average and this is an improvement. Mark III was just absolute shit. And I'll get into that in a moment. And Scarlett basically says, I'm the one who decides the risks. You signed away your right when you signed away the contract. And Amelia has this sort of feeling, do we not even have the right to feel fear? And Scarlett says, no, you gave up that right when you agreed to do this for the sake of humanity. And in a sense, she is right, but it's really a matter of safety versus protection, what's more important, the safety of these Pandora or defeating the Nova? So basically, she leaves, and in the manga scene, Scarlett smashes the coffee cup, and they didn't do that in the anime, so I was kind of disappointed. It was a subtle scene, but I liked it nonetheless. And you get a flashback of Amelia's past, and I like Amelia. I like the fact that she has the name Amelia. I just like that name in particular. And we get to see that she was one of the original testers of the Mark III, and it did not go well. The veins or whatever it was that are going on her face, particularly like when Pandora are activating their Pandora mode. So we know that the Mark III was not good, not at all. And this Mark IV can't be much better. And I don't know how it's going to work out. So well, I do obviously because I saw the episode, but what I mean is I don't know if they're going to actually perfect it to the way that it can work. But we know what happens in the end, and I'll get into that in a moment. Now, we get one scene with Chiffon as well as Elizabeth and a few other people swimming in a pool. Now, this scene was converted from the manga format, not the way I would have liked it, because in the manga scene, they're just standing with their original clothes, and there's one scene that they particularly ruin, in my opinion. And basically, in the manga, what happens is we have one chick who's considered the zombie or the immortal, whose name I forgot, and she's supposed to be one of the strong five throughout the world. And there are two others who show up, and then there's Chiffon. I don't, I don't remember if Elizabeth was one of the five. I don't believe she is. I believe we still have not known who the fifth person is. If you are caught up and past this, please, without spoilers, type down if Elizabeth is one of those five or if we have not met the fifth person yet. So basically, they're calling Chiffon a monster because that's her nickname, and her giant arm matches. And what I like about Chiffon is, first of all, she has the name Chiffon. That's so cool. Like Okiora Schiffer and Fairchild, that's an awesome name. And she, like, in the 10th Pandora class, when she was saying her name with her claw in front of her, I was just like, she's just a badass. Because she's such a sweet little diabolical monster. You can tell she's just like Unohana from Bleach, where she's the nicest person you'll ever meet, but if you fuck with her, she'll go batshit crazy and dissect your ass. So basically, she's all super evil looking, and she's all like, "Why do you all call me a monster? I really pride myself in my looks and that." And it was just hilarious that she just completely dropped the seriousness of it and was just acting all sweet. And in the manga scene, all characters just fall down in that cliche way. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's it. Sorry, Elizabeth. Sorry, Janessa. Sorry, Settleizer. Chiffon is my favorite character in the series, bar none. Now, the reason why the anime scene pissed me off was because it didn't, the dark part was portrayed more dark in my opinion, but the comedic moment wasn't as light as I would have liked it as opposed to the manga. So they didn't translate that as well, and they ruined one of my favorite parts of that particular chapter. But you know, I'll live with it. I'll live with it. So we basically close off the episode with basically there's this chick named Rattle who was I guess an orphan, or she was in poverty. She had to deal with famine, and she sold herself over to the Pandora project in order to get food. And you see Satellizer and Rana, and Rana actually knocks an ice cream out of her hand, and Rattle has no problem picking it up, blowing on it in order to eat it. And Rana's just like, "Hey, are you serious?" But where Rattle comes from, that's completely normal. She does that or she doesn't eat, is the way it works. So basically, they apologize of sorts, and Satellizer, Bridget, she was aware of Rattle's situation. She overheard from the previous episode, so she basically escorted Rana off and was like, you know what, let's not bother, etc. And then they're not happy because they want to know why. They want to know why they're just like, hey, why are you saying fuck us? And Bridget says straight up, because we're stronger than you and we don't feel the need to kick your ass again. So that was hilarious. So basically, her friend, if I remember correctly, Gina was with her, and Gina is the one who signs up for the Mark IV testing. It does not work well. I know, big fucking shocker. She gets this weird ass. Oh my god, her face is practically falling off, but it's not like muscle or flesh and blood underneath. It's like this weird ass fucking high tech gigatry surgery looking shit. It looks like a fucking freezing thing. It's so weird. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if she's being converted into a Nova or what. But she shows up and busts through a wall in front of her two friends that she wanted to see before she died. And the people who used this on her knew that she was going to die. So the end of the episode is basically the people getting a call saying, hey, this chick's breaking out. We can't have her escape no matter what, because the public is already on the fence about this as it is. They can't get wind that this project is potentially failing and that there's already a massive failure with this Mark IV. So they're like, we have to get the Pandora to stop it. But then they'll know about it. It's like, okay, either they know about it or the whole world knows about it. Make your fucking pick and let's just take care of this. So that's the end of the episode. I hope you guys liked my review. Next episode is going to go fucking ham. I can already tell. I'm going to read the chapters just to find out. And once I catch up with the manga, I'll be doing chapter reviews as well as episode reviews. So that's all for my review. I think I'm going to try doing Kill la Kill episode 3 review. I think that sounds about right. And I'll catch you guys next time.